Imagine living in a proper home with your husband, children, grandchild, with financial support to ensure that no one goes to bed hungry. What would make the situation even better is when there is at least one family member who is employed to cater for food for all and maybe one day end the family's poverty cycle. That is precisely the hope of Lemina Basson, a 50-year-old mother and grandmother residing at Takarania informal settlement in Mariental. Basson lives with her immediate family of 5 who have no other means of income besides the monthly food rations which she receives from the food bank program. It was in 2013 when the President, His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, introduced the food bank program under the Harambee Prosperity Plan to mitigate the impact of hunger on severely affected communities in Namibia. The Ministry of Gender Equality, Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare administer the program in collaboration with the regional councils.
The Namibian government, in its zoomed-in, fast-tracked interventions, namely the Harambee Prosperity Plan number 3, is speaking onto 0 deaths in relation to hunger in Namibia. Now, if you look at what the government is planning to do in order to address and speak on to poverty and hunger, I'm pretty sure that we are ready as a nation to do what we expected to.
The involvement of various stakeholders at grassroots is to ensure inclusion of vulnerable people who are affected by high-level acute food insecurity and lack of nutritional food.
The program was introduced to the region in 2018 February. Our food bank beneficiaries in Mariental Urban, which is in Hardap, and is the only town which is already benefiting from food bank. They are 362 beneficiaries right now. But from the beginning, we were the ones that went out into the locations, into streets, registering members or beneficiaries of this program. We did the registration, and the registration forms, we send them to the head office in Window, and that's where they do the selections. The selection is be done according to the recommendations. We did register a lot of people. Of course, not all of the people we did register are beneficiaries.
According to the 2021 State of the Hardap Region Address, unemployment, the reoccurring drought, and loss of income due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on livelihoods worsened many inhabitants' living conditions. Therefore, residents of the Hardap region consider the food bank program in Mariental, which they refer to as Harambee Food, a rescue food distribution scheme ensuring survival for many vulnerable individuals. It is also a significant initiative which complements the Namibian school feeding program, drought relief, pension, and children's social grants. Today, it is consolidating the Hardap Regional Food and Nutrition Security Strategy and Implementation Plan.
Significance is in the fact that the government has discovered that something must be done to help the most vulnerable survive from one day to the other day and should not perish on the basis of hunger, which all of us believe is manageable. If you look at the Sustainable Development Goals, the world, the global world has decided that it is not acceptable for anybody to perish and or to die and or to suffer because of hunger. That in itself already tells that the world has teamed together to address poverty, to address hunger. And all the other social ills that becomes a part and makes life difficult for people.
Ek bly nou al 'n jaar hier in hierdie huis. Voor Harambee het ek daar 'n werkietjie gehad, maar toe het hy werkietjie gelos. My man is 'n bouer. So my man het nou geen werkie. Dit help graag, dit help baie vir my. So as ek nie gepay het en ek kry die Harambee, dan kom ek dit mee uit.
Wilhelmina Basson, who is unemployed, has been receiving the food bank parcel for the past 2 years, and the family is grateful for the food items they receive.
Ek het gister my Harambee geloop vat. En ek is baie bly vir die Harambee wat ek geloop vat het. En ek het sommer vir my brood ook gebak. En ek daarom nou weer iets in my huis het.
Comparing the improved situation of Basson with that of another resident of Takarania, Willem Klassen and his family, who are not registered for the food bank program, it is evident that without the food parcels, the beneficiaries' circumstances will worsen.
Ek bly hier met 6 kinders en 4 groot mense. Hierdie kosietjies het ek een aan die gaan gehelp hier op 'n plaas om 'n huis te bou. Daarvanaf het ek dit gekoop, maar ek deel dit met my huis en my auntie langs aan. So deel ek dit op met hulle.
Okay. As dit klaar is,
As ek klaar is, dan moet ek maar weer gaan soela. Ek weet nou ook nie hoe lang sal dit nou uithou nie. Miskien net vir die naweek. Baie van ons is werkloos, soos ek het my werk verloor aan die corona-pandemie. So dit sal ook help om vir ons bietjie op die voet te bring.
Majority of beneficiaries come from extremely poor homes and have no other means of income. Hence, they are grateful for the improvements the program brought in their lives.
Het is nou zeker 6 tot 7 jaar wat ik hier zo is. Van 6, maar ik is nou hier naar de brood zoeken, nou hier naar de op. Omtrent een paar jaren wat ik nog niet werk heb, nee. Nadat ik mijn ongeluk gehad heb in Osakati. Ik was met die werk daar in Osakati, maar ik heb nou die elkaar gestampt daar. Ik heb nou hoog bloeddruk leer. En ik is ook nou niet recht in die benen ook niet. Ongelukkig kan ik nog niet die werk hier zo krijgen. Toen ik nou Harambee nou in die geval nou aangekomen van die government side af. En ik is wel dankbaar dat ons nou die government koos ook kan krijgen. Die Harambee.
It was very difficult before Harambee. It was very difficult, and it's even difficult to explain because, okay, she was not working. I was not working. Only her husband who was working. So, and that time the husband was working at the farm, and it was very difficult. Yeah, because salary is very small, and they must pay also this. Pay also some fees for the school kids.
The changes or withdrawal of some food items made it almost impossible to cater for the entire household. Hence, the beneficiaries suggested more food items to be added. However, to supplement their monthly food bank items, most beneficiaries spoken to are currently doing odd jobs, commonly referred to as Zula, such as assisting at construction sites, farms, and fishing at the Hardap Dam, as well as informal trading by selling cooked food and firewood, amongst others.
Die kos wat ek kry bly omtrent maklik 3 tot 4 weke. My maklike man bly dit ook. By my. Want ek struggle mos nou ook in die tussentyd dat ek dan ten minste sopperigheid kan kry, die eitjies en die glas tipe goed nou. Vir die geersels van die kos kan bietjie lekker maak kan maak. Maar net iets wat net daar ontbreek is, miskien tee en koffie wat nou niet daar is nie, en miskien soppakkies en so. Daar is wat dinge wat bietjie ontbreek. Daar is wel mense, soos buurmense wat as hulle niks het nie, dan vra hulle en ek hou hulle ook. En as ek ook nie het nie, dan gaan vra ek ook by hulle. En ek bly nou op die oomblik net met een oupa, my oom. Hy kry wel 'n pensionaris en hy help my ook daar met as dit nou sy kant is.
Mane wangi alongo milongo kwa jam. Okana natanga kaliko figoroga kumwe batelo. Okali keli mala mbe ya firinga okawa madlo dawana. Kakene pafo ikulia meombo nono bahapo ngashingo mbati veli opo.
Na veli chokala na mimi. Okay. Mala peifo sike obito kakongilonga. Aba bakula ponenge no mungu takakongilonga.
Amo kwera nzirongo. Kwa pari trenjo andikongo ngopundatela kumo bambo.
Ngasa lapo ne kwa kwa Italia po. Ikulie mu Italia po. Enga. Alambe membo langita nge ko mandelo. Tange ko igenande nando. Nke peite sindiringa si mono halambe amonjina ekuta membo jashi. Ounyanga dolongo bange na tangba mo Highland fokapana kange kwa memweni.
Some vulnerable youth like 28-year-old Sonovia Beekers, who lives with her boyfriend and their 6 children, also receive food parcels. However, like other vulnerable residents of informal settlements, she wants a job or her boyfriend to get a permanent job in order to improve the family's livelihood.
Arambesa ne hotos ainga taking my kere ko tip ki my mother struggle check kere struggle striking my kere and I take my striking taking my dimask ko be ngas like tidara harambesa ra ho una de yugo sun ungene harambestina no se arege ta feke tu ni ham ungene na fan manin kona da umasa na usisa chini feke gua no se hasi chero no se ban de honuga toare no se havan struggles ning abati.
Besides her unemployment, Beekers is appreciative that they have food to feed their children, unlike many other youth who are struggling every day to make ends meet.
Tainga haidongo longa umwe na nyoa kapopo pai fa Highland fa ke pyombo atura ndifango gasuka ngogo dora o kulia o manga hatukufa ihe tutenga ngaya tutu ya na penga unene ngange no ka mbiga ya numba italongo ninga kurupe na penga
Odege Bambi sabadege tolet sisene toedes en yenendo nakni kurip ngagrebi tidege April club ko se twisisen arege ngasisene khu ngasisene khu odege ngato odege to tidaga wip harambes de kan khwao sidanium sidege khlat pa harambes wi ho dama ne kege kharu khai kai sidege ko maratsa ko mingi ha o madege ratsa har ani COVID-19 maipna.
Yes, as you can see, this is our business. We sell firewood and he is selling tomatoes. We are making a little income from the firewood that we are selling here, just to bring food at the table and to maintain ourselves and our children. And my grandmother, she's the one that's actually doing this.
Okay. Again, next year, maar ik struggle zo, laat ik maar dat tamati se verkopen, laat ik mijn ijs kan zorgen. Maar ik krijg dan niks aan bij Woki.
Especially for us that are unemployed, they should at least make a plan for us to benefit from the Harambee program, because we, the unemployment youth, we're really suffering from everything.
To choose that this person must become the beneficiary or not is not in our hands. That's in the ministry's hand, on the ministry's hand. But we did register a lot of people, but some of them didn't make it to become beneficiaries. But they did not qualify because of people don't want them or so on. It's according to the criteria.
Even though there are still misconceptions from some quarters of the population that the food bank program is not inclusive and that it is also creating a dependency syndrome, the rollout of the food bank program under the Harambee Prosperity Plan is hailed as a remarkable intervention. It also contributes to the realization of the Sustainable Development Goals, Goal 2, which focuses on zero hunger. In partnership with development partners, the Namibian government assists the Directorate of Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare to develop the food bank monitoring and evaluation framework to ensure transparency and accountability. However, the government has also embarked on food production initiatives aimed at empowering vulnerable people to produce their own food, such as the integrated community-based food systems projects, urban agriculture, and a strategic plan to ensure food security and nutrition.
If we get that money and start gardens elsewhere, start small stock, restocking people's crops somewhere, we are going to have a more significant, more tacit, if you like, approach to addressing poverty and hunger in Hardap region. I believe we should start to move away from creating dependency syndrome and make people to realize that they should take charge of their own feeding in order to secure food security for them as individuals, but for the rest of the people that are resident in Hardap region. And that would be something I would embrace with both my hands. And I'm standing tall to work with the private sector and with the government institutions so that we should learn people to take charge of feeding themselves.
It's the hope and wishes of many beneficiaries for government to continue with the program because it is their only safety net, which ensures that they do not go to bed hungry. Therefore, sustainable management of the food bank program and inclusion of many other vulnerable communities and individuals is critical, especially during the current COVID-19 pandemic challenges and low economic growth. Oh,